Good morning. We are in what we have fondly come to call the room of requirement. It's the meditation room. It is we also call it the room of every faith. It's got stuff for every faith. If I can get this to work right, there we go. I wanted to do a quick update on Cal and how he's doing. We haven't done an update in a while, so I'm going to kind of do this in three parts. The first is pre-surgery. Pre-surgery, everything was going really well. The tumor shrunk down. That's kind of the last you heard from us. We met with the new surgeon, Dr. Skaith. He's the head of the surgery unit. Everybody's saying the scans look fantastic, everything looks good. And actually, I think that's it, pre-surgery. So we're just going to blunt right into part two, which is surgery. Surgery came up on Monday, I think, and got him part for surgery. Now this was a little different than our normal trips because number one, we've stopped doing chemo while we're doing surgery. Number two, we are not in the oncology unit, we are in the surgery unit. Which different nurses, different rooms, different floor. We're on the third floor now instead of the fourth floor. Definitely love our oncology people. Surgery has been fantastic. So we went into surgery. We got in to access this port, and we had been sitting in there for about an hour, and before they access his port, we put this numbing cream on it, and that had been sitting there for, it only works for about an hour, and it had been sitting there for over an hour, and so we said we need to get his port accessed. Let's get on the ball. Let's get some people over here. And so like, okay, we'll call it the IV team, and we'll get on that. And they just took their very sweet time. So IV team got there, and I'm trying to like close the curtain to the room because there's the pre-op prep room at the time, and trying to hide like the needles and stuff from Cal so he didn't start freaking out. Because while the kid's nonverbal, he's just brilliant. He's so smart. You can't hide anything from him. He knows what's going on. He sees nurses come in when he's in a different room. They know they're gonna access his port. So he's already agitated at this point. And so I kind of pull the nurse aside and say, look, we need to get this done. We need to get it done quick, and we need to get it done efficiently. I get my off focus here. That might be better. And they're like, okay, yeah, we know, we've done this before. And I said, okay, he's gonna go ballistic. So just like a Band-Aid, rip it off. Do it quick. And so they get in there and they start prepping them and cleaning the thing and just chatting with each other and having a jolly good time. And I'm like, guys, this is a ticking time bomb waiting to go off here. We need to pick this up. We need to get this going. So they go and they access his port, and they're like, oh, we forgot the stickers, and that's what they call the covers that go over everything to keep it all clean and everything. oh, we forgot those. Can you go grab those? So she's holding the the needle in his port. And granted, it doesn't hurt. Shouldn't hurt at least. Um, but he's at this point like on the verge and about to freak out. And so, anyway, he starts freaking out and thrashing around while they're trying to hold the needle in his port. And they're just so confused as to what's going on. I'm like, dude, he's 2. And while he's nonverbal, he's smart. He knows what's going on. Get this going. Come on. And they had to go out for new stickers like 3 times. They didn't have anything prepared. I was so mad. I'm like, it's bad enough that he's got to go through this. Like, at least be ready. And, this is not a teenager we're dealing with, it's a 2-year-old. Anyway, that really upset me. But from that point on, he was really agitated, and so the nurses were all getting upset because they couldn't get a proper blood pressure reading off of the cuff, because he hates the cuff that inflates to take your blood pressure. Hates it, absolutely hates it. Doesn't like that it squeezes his arm, but they couldn't get an accurate reading because he was always freaking out because he's already heightened. So we try to calm him down. So they're getting frustrated because they can't get an accurate reading. But I'm like, well, I told you so. Anyway, we got him under. They drew on his belly where to do the surgery and stuff, and then went in for surgery. So this is part 3, and this is surgery and post-op. We were told that the surgery was going to take like 5 hours. It didn't. Everything went super smoothly. The surgeons were all just stoked about how the tumor looked and everything. We have pictures. I'm not going to post them on YouTube because they are, I don't want to say graphic, it's not really graphic, but it's him in surgery. So he's opened up. You can see his insides and stuff. And some people are squeamish, so won't post those on YouTube, but we have them if you're interested. They are very interesting. My father-in-law pointed out, I sent him the pictures, and all the healthy organs are very smooth, round, plump. They could be fruit. But then you look at the kidney that they take out with the tumor, and it's part of it's smooth, but then it just starts getting all spiky and angry, and where the tumor is growing and spreading, you can see where it ruptured and such. Very interesting. Surgery went really well. They were practically giving each other high fives on the way out. Everybody was just so excited about how it went. Very clean. He does have a nice 6-inch incision along his stomach from his belly button about to his right side, a little bit past into his back. And for a little guy, that's pretty big. I'm sure as he grows, though, it won't be as big. Anyway, so surgery went really well. It was extremely stressful. Extremely stressful. Probably one of the most terrifying moments of my life thus far. Don't want to jinx it, but it was horrifying. Just not knowing I can't even put it in words. When they finally came out and they showed us all the pictures and said, things just went fantastic. Of course, it's huge relief. Post-op, I guess this would be part 4. There was a part 4. Everything went super well. They gave him an epidural to just numb his whole stomach, kind of like you would a pregnant person. And that and Tylenol is about the only pain meds they had him on. He was doing really well. He had a catheter in, obviously, for surgery, but they had to, also because he had an epidural, you have to put a catheter in, and that was bothering him. So yesterday was kind of a fight to try to get the catheter out so he could get up and moving around, and he didn't seem to be in a lot of pain, just bothered by the catheters. So post-op went really well. We had great nursing staff. When they put us in the room after he got done with surgery, it was like 80 degrees in the room, and we're like, whoa. So we turned it down, and it's just not cool enough. It's not cool enough. The rooms here on the 3rd floor, not as nice as the 4th floor. 4th floor is oncology. 3rd floor is surgery and post-op. So not as nice, not as big. And this one that we got put in had no air conditioning. They weren't aware of it, of course, so we quickly made them aware. But we spent the night trying to get down from 80 degrees. We went from 80 to 74. The AC was set to like 67, and we had to open doors, which was super against the rules, but it was so hot. We had fans going. So the next day, they switched us rooms, and we are in I'm going to call it the handicap room. And what that means is they've got a thing in the ceiling to pick people up and move them to the bathroom and stuff like that. So people who don't have use to their legs. And this room hasn't been used in a while. It's fairly clear. You turn on the faucet and the water that comes out first is brown, not because it's dirty water, it's just accumulated dust in the faucet. And it was only the first time. You flush it out. Ever since, it's been fine. But anyway, it's just interesting. It's the only room on the floor that has its own shower bath, because it's the handicapped room, which is actually nice. You don't have to go sharing the parents' room or the Ronald McDonald room. Ronald McDonald house actually has really nice showers, but it's just down the hall. It's a little inconvenient. So, switched us rooms. Our nurses were fantastic. I get this call. It said, "Hi, this is so-and-so from oncology, and we're just calling to confirm your appointment for tomorrow," which was yesterday. And I said, "Oncology? No, we're not doing chemo or anything. We just got out of surgery. We shouldn't be doing anything for about 2 weeks." And I want to mention at this point that they gave us these timelines, like 2 weeks, and they're totally wrong. So they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, we'll cancel the appointment." This appointment actually wasn't wrong. This appointment was the radiation simulation. So what they could do is they take them in, they put them under, and do a CT scan and basically make a blueprint of where they're going to do the radiation. Kind of like make a template. And so it's something we needed, because that's the next step, is radiation, but that starts also when chemo starts up again. So we were all confused. Anyway, Dr. Fair came in, clarified everything, what's going on, made sure the appointment was still set up, and went in to do it. The problem is radiation happens in the Huntsman Center, which is technically attached to Primary Children's and the U, but not. So you have Primary Children's, you have the U Hospital, and you have the Huntsman Cancer Center Institute place. And they're all technically connected by bridges and such, but they're not all the same hospital. They don't use the same systems, and they really don't communicate very well. So Dr. Fair and Dr. DeCharis, who is our doctor over on radiation, they're in great communication. They're on top of it. But letting like our nurses and stuff know, they had no idea. So I woke up at about 6:30 and showered and got ready and went and told the nurse. They just swapped nurses, so it's about 7:30. Said, hey, we've got people coming in about half an hour to pick us up to take us over to the Huntsman Center. And the nurse is like, what now? Taking you where? She had no idea. None. And so they're trying to hurry and figure out what's going on to try to arrange getting us to the Huntsman Center on time. Meanwhile, anesthesia comes around and makes their rounds, which they actually are probably doing right now, and I should be in the room. But I said, hey, if he's going to be put under today, let's go ahead and yank the catheter out. I said, we can't take the catheter out while he's got the epidural in. I said, great, let's take the epidural out while he's under. Oh, we can't, because our anesthesia team isn't doing it. It's the Huntsman Center anesthesia team. I said, that's fine, leave him under, bring him back, let's pull it out. And they're like, well, he'll be awake by then. I said, great, he wakes up, let's come over, let's pull it out. Let's get this moving. He's been complaining about the catheter, not the pain, so we're not worried about that. So like, okay, well, they're just kind of going back and forth on things, and I'm like, we're yanking this thing out. So they call over, and the anesthesiologists are talking to each other, and it turns out the anesthesiologist over at the Huntsman Center didn't feel comfortable yanking out somebody else's epidural. Understandable, that's fine. So we arranged to do it just afterwards, but at this point we are like running to try to get to our appointment on time. So Cal, obviously right out of surgery, has this big scar across his tummy. That's not sealed up all the way. He's got an epidural, and we're trying to transfer the machines and the IVs and the other medicines that he's getting onto a pole that we can take to the Huntsman Center. And so it's all real, like, the word our nurse used was janky, and janky it was. And so I'm looking at it as we're going down, and we've got him in our wagon, and we'll go down to the shuttle to take us over, and I pick him up, set him on my lap, and they have stored everything in the back of the van, and they're holding it as it's rolling around. When we get up there, it's a quick little, it's like a 15-minute run. So it was actually about a 15-minute drive too because of traffic. But we got up there, everything was good. They put us in a waiting room because they weren't finished with the previous patient yet. And so I'm sitting there looking at it, and I start taking the pole with his medicines apart. Good, because of course I did. Anyway, I start taking the machines off, and instead of clipping them to the pole, I clip them to the wagon. So it's got these real sturdy poles on the corners, and so his medication's all just hanging there, attached to the wagon. He's in the wagon, so everything's working out perfectly. Have to hold uh, the liquids, my bead bag, because they haven't quite taken them off it yet. But that was only for a second. And so they come back in, and the pole is empty. And they're like, what's going on? And so I said, I just attach it to the wagon here. This way, when we pull the wagon, everything comes with us. We're not. And they're like, that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Thank you. I don't think they're used to having somebody take such liberties with their equipment, and I'm probably not supposed to, but if the machine's beeping, I'm gonna come and turn it off, or not turn it off, but silence the alarms until they'll come and fix what needs to be fixed, or I'll go poke my head out and be like, hey, this infusion's done, we need to start the next one. And they're like, oh, okay. Not really believe me, but then they come in and it's like, oh, I can read a screen, I can read a monitor, I know what's going on, I'm not dumb. Anyway, so we get them all set up, and everybody's just fascinated with this wagon that we got. And I think Oakley's posted an update on the wagon. We call it Combat Cal's Battle Wagon. It's pretty cool. It's a nice wagon. It folds up to the size of a pack and play, unfolds, and it's just this massive. It's like a bathtub size, but it packs up so small. So he's just laying in there, relaxing, folds stretched out, hands behind his head, chilling. It's awesome. It's probably one of the best purchases we made for this whole adventure. It gets used a lot. It gets used to pack stuff back and forth from the van. Get used to take Cal when he's hooked up to stuff on walks. Anyways, we get over to the Huntsman Center. They do the scans. Everything goes great. He's kind of moody, waking up from the anesthesia, and then we pull out some toys, and he just perks right up, and he's like shaky and unbalanced, but he is determined to play with these toys. So we had got him a donut and some juice. So he's got a donut in one hand and toys he's playing with in the other, and he's just having a ball. And they all come back and they're like, "Whoa, he's doing really good. Yeah, he's strong. He's a trooper." Get him all packed up, and this time we left him in the wagon. So we had the truck put down the wheelchair ramp. We put the wagon on the wheelchair ramp, lifted him up, and put him in the back of the van that way, and just left him. And so we were all kind of like crouched in the back, holding the wagon, going downhill. Very 1980s, no seatbelts. We were safe. It was good. We didn't go more than like 10 miles an hour. It was interesting. Our nurse, Lauren, she was like, "This is crazy." Just all the running around she did and trying to arrange everything. And she came over, is working with the Huntsman's nurses to like get his vitals and stuff, because both hospitals needed it, and scans went super well. So they're like, yeah, your next appointment's on the 15th for starting radiation. We're like, what happened to 2 weeks? This was yesterday, and today is what, the 9th? Today's the 9th, so it was the 8th. I guess it was a week they're giving us. And they're like, "Yep, you'll come in. It's a Thursday. You'll come in Thursday, Friday for scans. Then you'll come up Saturday, Sunday or you also do chemo at the same time, but the radiation doesn't run on the weekends. So it'll be radiation and chemo Thursday, Friday, chemo Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Radiation then overlaps on Monday through Friday. Like 9 days straight, driving up and driving back, driving up and driving back. Yeah, we're like, can we have the weekend off? We just start this on Monday. Chemo has to go 5 days in a row. Radiation doesn't. Um, that's why we have to do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I guess would be the last of chemo, and then we would carry on through radiation. Why can we just do it all at the same time? So we're gonna try to arrange that. They wanted it that way because our doctors were in clinic, and our doctors wanted to see him. Everybody just loves Cal. They just adore him. He's so stinking cute when he's happy. They see his bad side, they see his angry side, but when they see him playing, he's just so cute. They love it. And I love that Millie's here, and everybody wants to hold her, and so we get a little time off from that. They're playing with her, and the nurses are so great. They're like, "Oh, you need a bum change. Let me do that." Take care of it. They go find diapers and everything. Okay. I'm not gonna fight you for the opportunity to change a diaper. Go right ahead. So everybody's been fantastic. Anyway, we get back. We get back to surgery, and that's when we changed rooms. And actually, I think we changed rooms the night before. Yeah. Not a lot of sleep. Sorry, my memory's not great. As soon as we got back, we went ahead and pulled out the catheter, and 10 minutes later, he's peeing, which is great. That's what they were afraid of, is that with the epidural still in, he wouldn't naturally pee. He's peeing, so they're like, great, let's yank the epidural. Popped it right off. This nurse, this anesthesiologist, heads and tails better above the ones who actually put everything, who accessed his port at least. She was like, all right, let's do this. And we told her the same thing, just let's do it. They've got this like sticker remover spray. We're just like, just get it off. We can deal with the sting. But if you let it escalate, he's gonna kick you in the face and it's gonna be bad. So she's spraying and she's pulling and doing it real quick, and everything's coming out. Boop, boop, boop. Yep, we're done. Good. Everything's done. Just put a band-aid on it. Done. And that was it. 10 minutes later, he's on the floor playing. He's got his cars and his truck's out. The nurses walking in there like, wow. That's, okay. He's got like a hamburger in one hand. He's eating. He's just blowing them all away with how well he's just bouncing back from this stuff. It's just incredible. The boy is just amazing. Yeah, just incredible boy. What did I miss? That's about it. Went to sleep. Woke up. Here we are. So there's your 30-minute update. I know it's a lot to take in, but again, it's more for me than it is for you. So